I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Hayat Eden. Thank you so much for joining us in this blizzard and the snow.
I have
Okay.
the, is this the right one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Terrific.
I'm going to mute
L'chaim,
myself.
L'chaim, thank you for joining us. Okay. Before we start, I mean, these weeks, Truma Tetzaveh, Vayakal Pikudei, is all about building the Mishkan. Truma is really about building the Mishkan, and Tetzaveh is about the Big Day Kahuna and some of the Avoida in the Beis HaMikdash. Anyone ever been into Shul of the Baal Shem Tov in Mezhebush? So,
Yes.
yes, you've been there?
Yep.
There's like a special feeling in there, no? You feel Baal Shem Tov dik. I went there many years ago, and lo and behold, I met one of our dear Mispalim in our shul before I came to Beis Menachem Mendel, who is 10 generations from the Baal Shem Tov. He was a very heartzik yid, and he hasn't come for a very long time. I hope he's doing well. David shall help him. So he should be. I hope he's beseder. His name is Baruch Weissman, who is 10 generations of the Baal Shem Tov.
I still see him occasionally.
Where do you see him?
Sometimes, yeah. And every day, sometimes, like maybe like every couple months, something like that.
I can't believe it. Grab him and don't let go of him. Call me
No,
on the
no, I
cell.
think after COVID. I think after COVID, he decided to not take his chances elsewhere. I don't
What
think he
kind of
davens anywhere. I don't know if he davens anywhere with like an
Just
Indian.
grab him. Don't let go. Call me, and I'll do the rest.
Okay.
Don't let him go. Grab
Okay.
him. Don't let him go. Call me on the cell phone. I'll take care of the rest. Okay, thank you. So I must say it was very heartsick. Baruch was so big. His service was so big, and I hope I could find Baruch again to bring him back. Anyway, the story of the Baal Shem Tov, how he ended up in Mezhebush, because the Baal Shem Tov originally was born in Mezhebush, but there is a story told by the grandson of the Degel Machane Ephraim, the Moshe Chaim Ephraim of Sildikov, the grandson of the Baal Shem Tov. The Degel Machane Ephraim also lived in Mezhebush, and the story. So we should start the share with a story?
Sure.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, in short, the story that the Einikel of the Degel Machane Ephraim said about the Zayde was that there was a rich Yid. He was a Moededik Talmid Chacham. His name was Rebbeirish. He would sit Yom and Valayla and learn, and that's it. And his wife ran the business. His wife would travel to Brod, and she'd go to the big fair and the Grosse Yirid, and that's where she would buy once a year Schoide, and she'd bring it back to Mezhebush, and they would sell it, and she ran the business. He sat and learned day and night. She heard that there was a big tzaddik in Toulouse, near Brod, with the name of the Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. So she decided to go there, and she heard so many unbelievable stories. She went to the Baal Shem Tov, and she would get brachas, and the more brachas she got, the more successful they were. And they became extremely rich. But her husband, she would tell her husband about this unbelievable Baal Shem Tov. He didn't want to hear. Nicht gewollt hören von der Sache and didn't believe in it. Okay. And and the Poritz of Mezhebush decides that he can make a couple extra dollars also. He sells them. He rents out the mill and the kretschman, the writes the fish, and he. But wait a minute. He heard from his friend, the other Poritz, that you could sell the position of Rav. The Rabbonos, yeah, no more, no less. You could sell the Rabbonos for highest bidder. Shabbos, I spoke about it. I don't know if you remember. As I mentioned about it in the Drasha Shabbos. So he decided, the Poritz decided he's going to sell the Rabbonos. When this woman heard that the Rabbonos of Mezhebush is for sale, she said, "Cool, great idea." She went, she paid top dollar, she came home, and she told her husband she has a birthday present for him. Ksav Rabbonos. He's the Rav of Mezhebush. Okay? It wasn't like he didn't know how to be a Rav. He can't call a Torah Kula. It wasn't a problem. Okay, very good. He became Rav. He became Rav of Mezhebush. Short time later, became very sick. They got the best doctors to visit him. They checked from head to toe, and they could not find the refuah for him. The doctor said it looks like he's not going to make it, and they don't know what to do. They have zero refuah for him. So the wife tells the husband, I told you about the miracle work of the Baal Shem Tov, the Chelek of Baal Shem Tov. Maybe it's time we go to him. Yeah. He'd rather go to Yenevelt than waste his time. So I said, telling you have nothing to lose. Come with me to the Baal Shem Tov, the Chelek of Baal Shem Tov. The stories. Doesn't want to hear the stories. It got very bad. And she's begging her husband. He said, okay, you go. She says, no, but it's for you. You know what? She said, I'll go myself, travel all the way. But you have to make, at Tkiyas Kaf, you have to promise that when the Baal Shem Tov will give instructions, you're going to follow through on the instructions. 100%. He accepted upon himself. The woman traveled. She came to the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov said, I can't help unless I come see your husband. The woman immediately hired a wagon. They should take the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov came to Mezhebush. Baal Shem Tov puts his hand on the mezuzah, walks into the house. He walks straight over to the Beidish. Shalom Aleichem. This guy was about to die. The doctor said in a few hours he's dying. Doesn't respond. Hashem Tov raises his voice. That's how you're mekabel oidich? You don't even give Shalom Aleichem to the oidich? He puts out his hand to the Baal Shem Tov. That's a schwache hand. You weiß, wie the hand mit the Chassidim, they give a handshake. You almost as the fingers touch each other.
Dead
Come
fish.
on! Huh?
Dead fish handshake.
Yeah, thank you. So I like that one. That's the way you give Shalom Aleichem. You can't sit up and give me Shalom Aleichem. Anoidach came. With his last koiches, he sat up on the bed and he says Shalom Aleichem to the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov says, in heaven I can see there's 3 ketrugim on you. One is you're destined to be a businessman, not to be a Rav. You understand? If the rabbi decides to start selling bagels and the bagel man decides to be a rabbi, it's not good. Everyone's got to do their job. Everyone has a job from the Rabban Shalom. The Rabban Shalom wants that every Yid should do his job. Your job is to be a businessman and not to be the Rav. Okay? Next time your wife buys you a birthday present, check what it is before you take it. And then the second thing is There is an old base medrash in Mezhebush who's been crying that it's been neglected. Everyone's now davening in the big base medrash, and you're one of them. And the old base medrash is crying. That was a kitrug against you. And the third said that Rabbi Yosela, the grandson of Degel Machal Ephraim, I heard from my Zaydab, I don't remember what the third kitrug was. And the Baal Shem Tov said, for the first kitrug, you have to immediately vacate your position as rabbi of Mezhebush. Immediately. Immediately. Someone else will become the Rav of Mezhebush. You have to vacate. So with the first, you'll take away the first kitrug against you. Okay? Person was like about to die, but he knows that his whole life is dependent, and he right away says, I vacate my place as the Rav of Mezhebush. You have to realize Mezhebush was a very choshev town. If you go to Mezhebush today, you see, a little shtetl. It's an ablota. But you know who was the Bach was who was.
Which pushka goes to the shul? What? Which pushka goes to the shul?
So
Mute it.
Pettis,
mute
can you
on
please
your
mute
end.
yourself? Pettis, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. So he right away, the Bedish said, I vacate my place. And he asks the Baal Shem Tov, what are we going to do for the other two kitrugim? The Baal Shem Tov says, the other two kitrugim, I have to take care of myself. I have to move to Mezhebush. I'll go back to Toulouse. I'll ask my wife permission. We're going to move together to Mezhebush. I'm going to be Kaveya, my base medrash in the old base medrash of Mezhebush. And that's going to take away the second kitrug. And the third kitrug, it's my business. I take away the third kitrug. And Kachav, according to the story of Rabbi Yosela, the grandson of Rabbi Ephraim, Moshe Chaim Ephraim, the Baldeger Machal Ephraim, that's what ended up that the Baal Shem Tov ended up coming to Mezhebush. He came and he was Kaveh Mokim in the old Beis Medrash, and this Yid was totally healed. There's a beautiful story because then the Baal Shem Tov said that you should know that this Beis Medrash is Mechuven Keneged the Beis HaMedrash Shalamayla. It's not just a regular Beis Medrash. It's Mechuven Keneged the Beis Medrash Shalamayla. We never know why we're in Beis Mechamendel on other days, a Haltzachop. Well, Maila, they want us to daven here in this Beis Medrash in the meantime. And that was the story. The truth is that the Baal Shem Tov did make a big move. He moved from where he was in Brod to Mezhebush, according to historians, because the city of Mezhebush invited the Baal Shem Tov to move there. But the Baal Shem Tov was Kevei's Beis Medrash in this very old Beis Medrash. That Beis Medrash stood in its place for many, many years. Kiyudua that the Degel Machna Ephraim wanted to paint the walls, whitewash the walls, and the Baal Shem Tov came to him in a dream. He said, "This Beis Medrash is mechuven keneged the Beis Hamikdash Shalamayla, and the walls is filled with Torah and Tefillah for 500 years. I don't want you to whitewash the walls." The Bolsheviks, Yimach Shemom, closed the shul on Chag HaShavuos, Tov Reish Tzadik Tes, which is a Pella, was the day of the Yahrzeit of the Baal Shem Tov. And the Germans, by the time they came to Mezhebush in 1942, the Ukrainians already managed to kill most of the Jews. They just finished off the job. The last 1,000 Yidden, they rounded them up, took them down to the river and killed them there, and threw their bodies in the river. And they burnt the shul on Shavuos Tov Reish Gimel in 1943. Again on Shavuos, Apella de Kazach. It was closed on Shavuos, so it was burnt on Shavuos. And one of the survivors who came back and lived in Mezhebush and later moved to Eretz Yisrael, it was a Mr. Margolis, and he met this guy, Mr. Gabay. who goes around all around Eastern Europe. He finds the Kivrei Tzadikim, and he does a really, really, really wonderful job to find the Kivrei Kaddish. It's a Tzadikim, and put a Matzeva to make sure to put gates around the old cemeteries all over Europe. He flew down together with the Mr. Margolis, who showed him exactly the place at the base of Medrash. And Mr. Gabay tried to buy the place from the city, but they didn't want to sell it to a Jew. So he just got a local goy and gave him an extra few zlotus or rubles, and goy bought it and sold it to Rabbi Gabay. And he took pictures from before the war, exactly what the shul looks like, and he rebuilt it exactly in the same spot to try to look at, like, mamish. If you look at pictures side by side, it looks mamish like the original shul. Built it the same materials, built it out of wood, cement, and so on. They built it the same dimensions as the original base medrash. He built a beautiful Achnas Sorchem shtibel nearby, and it's like a 3-minute walk to the cemetery. And that's where the Baal Shem Tov is buried. And next to the Baal Shem Tov, there's a lot of the Chashuvei Talmid Baal Shem Tov are buried next to the Baal Shem Tov. Okay.
They have an oihel on top of the Baal Shem Tov's grave?
Yeah. No. He built it. I think it was originally that way. There's 6 or 7 huge tzaddikim Talmid Baal Shem Tov buried around him, and but he built it because it was destroyed. But the tombstones, actually, a lot of them are the original, or not maybe exactly the original, but like, old ones, very, very old ones. Those are still standing throughout the history. Okay, let's start today's Shiur. Parshios Truma is about building the Mishkan, and Parshios Tetzaveh is about making, sewing up the begodim for the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol. And before we start, we learned once a Sicha, and it ties in a little to what we're going to learn now. That if you learned the Chitas today? You learned the Chitas today? Yeah? Okay, good. The Rashi says the ephod is very complicated. The Rashi says, Libi oimerli, my heart tells me that the ephod looks like those fancy ephods that are worn by the French women when they're riding horses, the noble women, the soris which are riding on the susa. I hope you have a chumash in front of you. You could give a kuklaychem the Rashi and the Langet Rashi. And today's Rashi says, the ephod lo shamati v'lo metzasi b'beraisa pirish tavnisi. V'libi oimerli. It's a very unusual lashon. V'libi oimerli. V'libi oimerli. My heart tells me. Shuchoger lemachayre v'roch bekeroichiv gavish kemin sinner shekolim puritins. It's old French. Shechoigres hasoris kesheroich v'salasusa. That noble women ride it. When they ride a horse, they wear it. The Rebbe spoke about, we did the Sicha, and I'm not doing the Sicha again. We're doing tonight a different Sicha. But the Rebbe ties in the two sugyas. The Rebbe said that when he was a child, the Malamed said in Cheder Azamaisa that Rashi was once walking from his house to the Beis Medrash, and he heard the galloping of a horse, and he looked up, and he saw a French noble woman dressed up fancy schmancy, as from Paris, dressed up with the, with the modo from Paris, and Walla, and Rashi was so upset. That how did it end up that his heilige eyes ended up looking at a French woman, a noble woman, dressed up as a fancy schmancy, riding on a horse. And Rashi, it bothered him tremendously. And then when he came to write the Pirush on Tetzaveh, the Rebbe says it's a pella, because really Rashi brings so many. If you learned the Rashi, It's a very long Rashi. Rashi brings a raya about all the parts of the ephod, that it couldn't just be a belt, it couldn't just be the shleikis, it couldn't just be. He brings the rayas from the psukim. So why does it have libi omerli? But because there's a few little things that Rebbe says with Taka that Rashi argues in the Rambam. According to the Rambam, the ephod and the choshen were really two parts of one thing. They were both a tachshit. According to Rashi, the choshen was a tachshit, but the ephod was a beged. And that's what he chapped when he saw the woman riding on the horse. That the French women, the noble women, were not prosta women like today. They wanted to dress with a little more tznius, and you're riding on a horse. You have one leg on one side, one on the other side. So they dressed up with a special ephod when they were riding the horse, which went around them, which to more tzanua, and that was an extra darg of tznius in the kohen gadol. And the Rebbe said the Malamed had gesagt in Chayder that when Rashi wrote the Pirush, she realized that everything is bashgacha pratis. The Eibishter wanted. He didn't go around looking about, what's the latest. He didn't go look what was the latest style coming out of Paris. It's mikra nikra. He heard a horse galloping. He looked up, and inadvertently he saw the woman riding on the horse, and he bothered him so much until he wrote the Pirush and Tetzaveh, and he realized, it was a Jochel Yoina. The Eibishter wanted that he should see it, so he should be able to understand the Maisa HaEphod, the exact dimensions of the ephod and the function of the ephod. That's where Rashi chapped a different mahalach in the ephod than the Rambam. This will tie into something that we're going to learn tonight. On top of the ephod, there were two stones, one on each shoulder. But let's read it inside. It's very important. If you have the Chumash, please open it up quickly. Sorry, time is flying over here. Yes. You can look in the Dvar Malchus for it. It's at the end of today's Chitas. It says in Pasuk Tes, after it talks about the ephod, and the ephod has to have these, shleikis that go over the shoulders, the reverse shleikis, you would call it, reverse shleikis. So it says in Pasuk Tes, that there should be special racks called Avnei Shayim. Thank you very much. Yeah. So those straps in the back, I call the reverse shleikis. So on his and on both shoulders and each side, there should be one of the Avnei Shayim. Upitachta alayim, you should carve into it Shmois Bnei Yisrael. Next pasuk, Shisha Mishmois Malaven Achas, VeShmois Shisha Nisanim Malaven Hashenis Kisel Daisa. Okay. Sagt Rashi Kisel Daisa. Kisei Deshenoldu. Let's say that they were born. Ruven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Dan, Naphtali, Al Achas. Malashenia, God, Oshi, Yisachas, Vulun. Yosef, Binyamin, Moli. Shekenu Kosa, B'mokum, Tel Doisei. Chofei, Oisius, B'kol Achas, V'yachas. 25 Oisius on each stone. Agav Urcha, before we really get into the meat and potatoes over here, there is Rashi. If you look here, it says Ayin Soita Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph. So if you're going to look in the Gemara Soita, all the Mefarshim point out right away that there's two opinions how the Avnei Shayim were written, and Rashi is not like any one of them. According to the first opinion, that it says in the Braisa Shnia Ketel Doisam Veloy Shoyna Ketel Doisam. Then in the second stone it was only Ketel Doisam. The first stone did not have Ketel Doisam. Mipnei Yehuda Muktem. That Yehuda was the first one on the first stone. But the bottom line is Chamishim Oisisoyu Esen V'Chamash 11 Zu V'Esen V'Chamash 11 Zu 25 on each stone. That's the Shita the Tanakam. Reb Chanina ben Gamliel Oimer Loi Kederech Shechelkim B'Chumash Pikudim Chlukim Be'avnei Ephod Ela Kederech Shechelkim B'Chumash Eini Keitzad B'nei Leah Kisidron. In the first stone, it was Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zavulun, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar Zvulun, the children of Leah, and Bnei Shvacha, and then Bnei Rachel Achas Mekan V'Achas Mekan, Yosef on the top and Yoman on the bottom, and the other four, the Bnei Shvachas were Be'emtza. Ma Elamayni Mekayim Kil Toldosim, when the Pasuk says Kil Toldosim, what does it mean? Kishamoisim Shkor Lamavim, V'loi Kashem Shkor Lamoishe Rabbeinu, Ruven Loi Ruveini Shima V'loi Shimoini Don, V'loi Hadoni God V'loi Agodi. Okay. What is the two shittas? Rashi doesn't go like either two shittas over here. The Parshios ask why. The Parshios says a very sharp lashon on Rashi. He says Loi Dok. Rashi wasn't medayik. And the same the Gur Aryeh says a similar lashon. The Rebbe says that we know that even though the Rabbeim said, and it's brought in the Ma'amah Tafrei Shayim Beis, that all the Mechaberim until the Shach and the Taz, Shach Taz Machlolim and the Masha, Bechlolim wrote this their Pirush Beruach HaKodesh. Siddim had unbelievable reverence for all the Mechaberim, which the Sforim were in the Skabel Batfusis Yisrael. But there was a special kedusha. The Alter Rebbe said is in Pirush Rashi. So there's no way to say loydok Rashi loydok. The reason by Parshios Rashi didn't hold like either way in the Gemara is both doesn't sit well in Pshuta Shel Mikra. The pasuk says Ketel Doisam, you're telling me Yehuda is on the top, but that's not Ketel Doisam. Another pshat in Tel Doisam, you're telling me only one rack was called Tel Doisam, not the other rack. And one of them had the Bnei Leah, and the other one had the Shivchis in the middle, and Yosef on the top, and Yom on the bottom. It doesn't jive with Pshuta Shel Mikra. The question that all the Mefarshim ask, what is Rashi Bechlal saying over here here? What is Rashi saying? Ketel Doisam Kesei the Shem Noilda. What is Rashi saying? And he's giving you a list of the Shvatim. Well, I don't know the list of the Shvatim. And why is Rashi starting to say Chofi Oises B'chlachas? Rashi is not a Shulchan Aruch, he's not a Rambam. He's just teaching Pshuta Shel Mikra. What is negay of a child to know that there was 25 oises here and 25 oises there? And wasn't negay to know that Binyamin was spelled Molly? He's not writing the halachas like the Rambam, the Hilchas Kliya Mikdash. So there's three general pshatim in the Mefarshim. One pshat is that in the Imre Shefer and the Kitzur Mizrachi, the Malachas HaKodesh, the Guradi, the Divrei Dov, and so on, they say, Rashi wants to tell you not like the Gemara. And Taka, like the Rebbe wants to say, that Rashi didn't want to learn like the two opinions in the Gemara because that's not Pshuta Shel Mikra. The Rebbe says that's so poshut, Rashi doesn't even have to say that. Obviously, why would Rashi learn like the Gemara? And if he just wants to say, he could say Kipshutai. Rashi doesn't have to give a whole arichas. Or say just two words, Kesei the Shenoildu. Then he gives me a list, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, 25 here, Binyamin Moli. Doesn't answer what the arichas in the Rashi. Second pshat is from the Rebbe Eliyahu Mizrachi. You would say, Ketoil Doisa means whoever has children first, his name goes first. Rashi says that's a very funny pshat. And Rashi would say, don't say that pshat. Rashi, it's a very funny pshat. Even a little child will not think of such a pshat. First of all, why would you think of such a pshat? And secondly, we in Pshuta Shel Mikra, we don't know who had children first. Why would the pasuk tell me, the Torah tell me to do something that it's impossible? I don't know how to do. And the third pshat is that maybe you might think that the pshat Ketel Doisam is whoever had children first. Who had children first from the Amos? Leah. Very good. Who had children's next? Bila. Who had children next? Zilpah. Who had the last? Rachel. So you might think that Ketul Doisa means like this. First you put Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun. And then you put the children of Bila, Dan, Naphtali. Then you put the children of Zilpah, Gad, Vasher, and then Bnei Rachel. So Rashi says, no, don't think that way. The Rebbe says again, it's modern. Why would you think that way? Why would you think that way? The Rashi has to tell you not to think that way. And again, what's the arichas in the Lashon Rashi? So again, there's three pshatim of what Rashi is trying to negate In other words, why does Rashi have to tell me something? The whole pasuk is self-explanatory, and all three pshatim that Rebbe doesn't like, and B'chlal Darichas and Rashi is not clear what the Rashi is coming to tell us. Okay, so let's go Bekitza to the Rebbe's pshat. The Rebbe says a pshat is like this: there's two shilas a child will have in this pasuk. Two shilas in the pasuk. Let's read the pasuk again, and let's see if we chap the shilas over here. So you with me?
Yes.
Yes, good. Shisha mishmoisam alayvan achas. 6 names on one stone. The shmois hashisha neisorim, and the leftover 6 shall be al even hashenis on the second rack. Kitel doisim, like they're born. Two diyukim a child will right away chap. Why is the first one like the choshev guys, and the next guys is noiser, the leftovers? Why are the second the leftovers, the riffraff, the leftovers? And why is it that only by the second stone it says Kitul Doisam? Pakazoi, according to one of the pshatim in the Braise, Takazoi, only one of the racks was Kitul Doisam, the other racks was not Kitul Doisam. But that's also a shaylam pshuta shel mikra. It's also a problem in pshuta shel mikra. Why doesn't it say right in the beginning that upirtachta olem shmois bnei Yisrael Kitul Doisam, Oshisha mishmoisam Kitul Doisam alayev achas? Why does it say at the end Ketul Doisim? It almost sounds that only the second rack is Ketul Doisim. And why is it that by the second rack the people are called Noisorim? So someone might think and say, maybe the first rack, one rack was the Chosheva guys, and that was Kesei the Hachashivus. And the other ones, the Noisorim, the leftovers, was Kesei the Ketul Doisim. Who are the Chosheva guys? Maybe the Bnei Shivchis are the not Chosheva. Or maybe you'd say those that Yaakov Avinu rebuked are the not Chosheva. Or maybe you say the strong ones are the Chosheva, the weak ones are not Chosheva. You might come up with some formula and say there's the Chosheva ones. They go, I'll say that HaChashivus. And the Noisorim, the riffraff, the leftovers, they're the ones that you put Ketul Doisam. So Rashi says, no, don't say that. Don't and Rashi's because Rashi says in Pshat Toldoisim goes on both stones, so therefore you have to have Shimon, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, so on. But a person is going to ask why Takas Toldoisim at the end. So Rashi says that Toidas Meriramas by putting Toldoisim at the end, that Binyamin usually write with one yud, but here I want you to put Binyamin with 2 yuds. Kitoldoisim, like the first time when he was born, Binyamin is spelled with 2 yuds. Why does the Torah want that? Because I want 25 letters on one stone and 25 on the other ones. Equals to even Stephen Barab even. I want it to be even. And the fact that it's even Stephen shows you that Ashivas and both stones are equal. Haguf Zarai, the fact that the Torah was makbid, that there should be equal amount of letters, 25 on one on Kesef Yeminis and 25 on Kesef Hasmolis, Hagufas Mechiach, that it isn't that one was the more Choshev stone, and there was, then there was the cheap steets, that there was the Choshev stone and the less Choshev stone. No, it's nishtazoi. It's not true. 25 and 25. Ali Yidin zan glach. Achtas mit Ali Yid. Therefore, why does it say Toldoisim at the end? No, it's the Meram is something about the name of Binyamin and how it should be spelled. In fact, the reason why it says Neisorim is Mitzatei de Toldoisim then Neisorim. But really the Chshivas is equal. Okay, this is Pshat and Rashi. The Rambam has a very unique Pshat. And the best way to understand the Rambam is by showing you the picture, because the Rambam himself made a picture when he made. Try very hard not to break up my Rambam over here while I pick it up. Is Azoy. I see it's not going through. Ay. I don't know, there's something here in the computer.
Because your background is blurred. That's a problem.
Yeah, because the background is blurred in the Chvais Nishvitz is biting. Okay, let me explain. I'll do it Dvorim Shebal Peh. Actually, let me try to take a piece of paper and write it and see if it'll be Matzliach. Let's see. Let's see. No, it's still not letting. Like this blurring. It's fadreit. Fablurt and fadreit. Okay, what can I tell you?
You're too close. Go back a little bit.
No. It has a blurring. Oh,
Now you could see. Now we could
now
see.
you can see. Okay, Reuven. I just did the first two. Reuven Shimon. Let me try again. Levi. Here. Reuven Shimon. Levi Yehuda. Basically, you take the Ketul Doisam, according to the Rambam, was Reuven on the left or on the right. Reuven. Shimon. Levi Yehuda. Yisachar Zevulun. Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Yosef, Binyamin. There's tiny variables. Yosef with the hey, whatever, to make the 25 and the 25. You flip God and the Dan and Naphtali. But anyway, that was because the Rambam had Ketul Doisam, that the two stones together is Ketul Doisam, not that you're going down on the right and going down on the left. Ketul Doisam is like you put the two stones together and it goes from one to the next, and that's the Pshat Ketul Doisam. It's not that complicated. I just would be easier for the picture if I could show it to you in the Rambam, but I think everyone gets what I'm saying. So that's the Pshat Ketul Doisam. And the Rebbe says it's a different way in understanding the Achdus between Klal Yisrael. First, the Rebbe says that the Machloikis Rashi and Rambam, it ties into their general Machloikis about the Ephod. That Rashi saw the Ephod as a beged, and the Rambam saw the Ephod as a tachshit. And it's complex how the Rebbe ties it in. But anyway, that's one thing. And then the Rebbe goes into the Inyan of Avodas Hashem. Now, I want to skip out a little bit of what the Rebbe says, and if Shabbos we have time to bring about it, because it's really deep and very gishmak. I just want to get to one point in the Sicha. You can read it yourself afterwards in the Sicha. In the Svurim HaKadoshim, the Shachar LaTorah, the Alshich, the Beit Hetiv, the Tzemach Tzedek, have two mahalchim about the 25 and about the two stones. One mahalach is, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, is 25 oisius. 25 verses. We say Shema twice. Once Shachris, B'shach b'chov kamecher. So one was connected Krishma shel Shachris, and one is connected Krishma shel Arvis. That's one mahalach. And the word Shisha Mishmoisam Al is Shin Mem Ein Shema. That's like the Beit Hetiv. Gishmak. The second mahalach is that 25 and 25 is Keneged Shema and Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elolam Voed. Because when you say, because when Yaakov Avinu said Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, the Shvatim said, Yaakov answered Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elolam Voed. What's the nafkamina if the 25 and 25 is both Yehuda is both the Inyan Shema Yisrael, or one, or the second pshat, which is that one is the Inyan of Shema and one is the Inyan of Baruch Shem. It's explained in Chassidus that Shema is the Inyan of Yehuda Eloah. There's nothing besides Eibishter. A Yid is nahechre platz. Most of us, very hard for us to connect Yehuda Eloah. Yehud Tata means he doesn't have such a big chukis halev telekus. He has to force himself. Machshal talalev. Machshal talalev is not so simple. Doesn't mean like, it's a sport. I'm not interested and I'm forcing myself. It's a certain level of Avos Hashem that gives me the power, gives me the oomph to, get myself to do Yosef Metivere Gelusay different than I wanted. But anyway, be it as it may. There's the union of Yehud Eloah and Yehud Tatoah. So there is one mile to say that both stones is Yehud Eloah. But there's a certain mila to say that one stone is Yechudi Eloah and one is Yechudi Tatoah. If you remember, we once learned last year, Kegavna. Kegahu avavna dinya misyachad din l'yelo. Vanapo v'nihirin v'nihiri yelo. That Kegavna din misyachad l'yelo. Uf hochi ihi syachdas lasata brosa de echad. Lameve echad v'echad. What's lameve echad v'echad? That the echad, the way it's lamaila, we bring the Yechudei law into Yechudei Tatoah. And that's a bigger chiddush even than Yechudei law. We could bring Yechudei law into Yechudei Tatoah. In simple words is, Shabbos, Amalen, and Chassidus, and we feel Einoid Mavad, it's very nice. And then when you're making a frap on Monday morning, when a nudna came in and asked you for that, for the flipped frap, then he wants it the way it's in the picture on the wall over there. And then at that moment, to not get swept away in the nanishketten of this world, and to feel yichud of the Eibishter. There's no chocolate, there's no drizzle, there's no drazzle, there's no dazzle. This is Eibishter. Everything is Eibishter. So that's bringing yichud Eloah and yichud Tatoah, and that's moidedik. That's even bigger. That's a achtos nailis yoiser when you bring Yechudei law into Yechudei Tatoah. And the Rebbe says that that's similar to the difference between Rashi and the Rambam. According to Rashi, the Ketel Doisam, each one is Ketel Doisam. According to the Rambam, it's never Ketel Doisam until you put them both together. Yechudei law and Yechudei Tatoah. Also in the Achdus of Yidden, there is a Achdus of Yidden, we're Kul Echad. But then there's a Achdus of Yidden that it's not a Kul Echad, but still we love each other. There's a mile in each one. Even the way we come down to this world and we, he's the butcher, he's the baker, he's the candlestick maker, he's the Rav, he's the Shamash, he's the Chazan, he's the Gavai, that they all love each other and they all care for each other. That we all take care of each other. So there's a mile in each one. There's a mile that the yichud in both stones are exactly the same, or that the yichud is when you bring them together. Okay?
We do Sima Rambam. Today is Sima Rambam.
Yes.
Amazing Sicha.
Zog the Siyum.
Okay.
Until Rabbi Greenwald says the same, I've seen him finish off with a story. A shliach said that Balabas told him, Imamish, you saved my life. You gave a shiur in Perek Lamed Beis in Tanya. And next day I came to work and I had a scathing email from the CEO of the company. And I remembered that the night before you gave us, and you said, sin is chinam. Everyone says, no, I don't hate him b'chinam. I hate him because I have a good reason. But the shliach explained that it's all chinam. It's narishkeit, it's from the Eitz Hara. And that you have to love every Jew. So he said, instead of writing to the CEO a scathing message back, I went up to, I spoke to him, we worked things out. If I wrote him a scathing email, I would have lost my job. I kept my job. Anyway, l'chaim. We should have Yechudi Elo and Yechudi Tatoah, and we should have Avos Yisrael and Yichud, the way it is, Sai Metzad, in the Shmosam Lamaila, Sai the way we are here, Gufim Lamata. Okay, I'm giving it over to Rabbi Greenwald. Rabbi Greenwald should make the siyum. L'chaim.
Rambam finishing about
Rabbi. Sure.
the Rambam
busy.
finishing. You see me?
Yeah, I see.
I'm busy. I already ate. Thank
He's
you.
talking about lo and teire mitoch ava, so not from ira, not scary. To do teire mitoch ava. So aloch vav and tshuve. Dover yedo barur. שאין אהבת הקדוש ברוך הוא נקשרת בליבו של אדם. There is no love between Hashem and human being in his heart, עד שישגה תמיד כראוי. That the person have to walk. It's like בעל עסק. You have to walk with it till you get it. ויעזוב כל דבר שבעולם חוץ ממנו. and you should leave everything else. Don't care about car, don't care about business, don't care about food, about clothing, nothing. כמו שציווה ואמור, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. That's the two stone, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. אלא בדעה שידעו, ועל פי הדעה תהיה אהבה. You have to know Hashem, and the more you know Hashem, the more you love him. אם מעט מעט ואם הרבה הרבה. Either you love a little bit, but you love, or you love much, הרבה, הרבה. לפי כך צריך אדם לייחד עצמו. What does it mean לייחד עצמו? You have to give himself. להבין ולהשכיל בחוכמתו ותבונתו המודיעין לו את קונו. A person has to learn to understand the chokhmah from the Ebershter. And then, when you understand it, you love Hashem much more. כפי כוח שיש באדם להבין להשיג. As much as possible, Hashem is something that you cannot ever understand. But you still have to try to understand as much as possible. The more you try to understand, more chassidus you learn, the more deep you learn, you understand how Hashem is good to us. כמו שביארנו בהלכות יסודי התורה, פריך רחמנא דסייענא, נגמר ספר ראשון, we'll start second ספר, בשם השם כל עולם, more אהבתי את ירצך, right away after the Rambam finish how you have to learn to have אהבת Hashem, so you start the pasuk, more אהבתי את ירצך, כל היום שיחותי. ספר שני וספר אהבה, הלכות 6, וזו סדרו הלכות קריאת שמע, הלכות תפילה, ברכת שתיאנים, תפילין מזוזה, ספר תורה, ציצס, הלכות ברוכות והלכות מילה. מצוות עשה אחת, והיא לקרוא קריאת שמע פעמיים ביום וביום צעשו פרקים על פרק א', פעמיים בכל יום קוראים קריאת שמע, בעורב ובבוקר שנאמר, ובשור בחור קומר חוב, ג'ס לא עומדת את שיעור. בשעה שדרך בני אדם שוכבים, וזהו בלילה, ובשעה שדרך בני אדם עומדים, וזהו ביום. Everybody should have a good night. A mazel tov for the seal. And tomorrow we have a full day to learn Torah.
קריאת שמע, כתוב כמה, קוף ריש יוד תף, לא קוף ריש יוד א' תף.
What is קוף ריש יוד תף?
קריאת שמע, אבל לא קריאת שמע עם א', קוף ריש יוד א' תף.
Ken. Rambam law, it takes out the aleph. He doesn't have the aleph in there. It's interesting. He didn't learn diktuk from because he didn't learn diktuk from Mr. Ben Yehuda.
Okay.
He had a different mahalach.
Say koilim kriyat shema, he says koilim with the aleph.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Ask Aleph Yud Nun. He don't say koilim.
Yeah. He doesn't spell koilim the way it's spelled today.
The way the Mishnah says.
Yeah. True. Yes, you noticed it. It's true.
Is there a bris tomorrow?
tomorrow to learn the whole day as much as possible.
Yeah, amazing. And l'chaim, this will be. By the way, tonight, a nice oilam. We have our minion on Zoom together. So I don't know if Yoel's on. I don't think he's on, but it's a vachnacht for his son. Tomorrow's the bris. The Rebbe shall help him to be able to make the bris.
He was planning to make the bris in Williamsburg. What is he going to do by the end now?
I don't know.
He was on earlier. I'm on. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's on right now. Yeah.
Oh, Yoel.
When are you planning to make the bris?
I want to make the bris in Williamsburg, but I'm not sure I'm getting my way.
We both saw you the bris, Yield.
You're not allowed to drive to 12 o'clock. And even 12 o'clock is going to be jam-packed the road.
So keep us posted on WhatsApp. Keep us posted.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the information once I have it.
And also the moil. Let's say you want the moil to come. If you cannot drive, what are you going to do?
We'll find the local moil.
Yoel, we want to all give you mazel tov. Dein Bocherl soll sein, a Chossi, Mayim, on a Lamden, and this is we're learning together. Mechitza shel Barzel is not mafsik bein Yisrael Avim sheb'Shamayim. So if we're learning Ba'achtus, then it's as if we're in your house right now, next to the baby, and we're all saying L'chaim to the baby, as a Luis Vaxen, Nikita Shemayim, and as Lois Vaxen, L'Toiro, L'Chupa, L'Maisim Tovim.
Amen.
I think Shabbos is too short for you. If you have to learn 1 hour with every kid, you don't have enough time.
That's why he's supposed to keep the Rebbeinu Tamzman.
Oh.
That's half the reason. That's half the reason.
You know, with Hatzalah, you could go to Williamsburg. Hatzalah is allowed on the road.
We'll see. It has to be safe to go, so I'm not going to do anything that's dangerous.
Keep us
Right.
posted. Mazel tov.
Our scroll makes this book, but in like big. They have like a big.
Yoel, you have the Zohar? You have the Zohar, what you have to say?
No, I don't. I don't have a Zohar at home.
Okay, I'll call you soon. I'll tell you where
Right.
there's different Svarim you can get from the Oitzach Chochmah and download, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, fine. So I'll send you the information now. Which
The meaning is to be up the whole night,
Yeah.
right?
the minig is the baby keeps the tati up.
The whole night and learning
That's
Zohar.
right.
Some people don't hear when they're sleeping.
That's right. That's right.
Mazel tov, Yoel, all the best.
That's right. Thank you.
A gute Nacht. A gute Nacht, Rabbi say.
A good
Mazel
night,
tov.
everybody. A
Hey,
pleasure.
everyone. Thank you, Rabbi. Chaim in the home tashin.